Ladies and gentlemen of the regiment, welcome back to yet another video where I probably should have touched grass first instead of making it, but you know what? Here I am. So this video came up on my feed by the Trent Report, Game Store cancels, Games Workshop, and Warhammer 40k. Now, TLDR is, it basically reads from an article from the Fandom Pulse, regurgitates his rather lukewarm opinion, and it's something he said at the end that made me have to do this video. And I'm going to save that as a surprise. But I'm going to go through the article that he went through, as he basically doesn't add very much to it. But the small points, I'm going to go through the article which he went through from the Fandom Pulse. And anytime he actually says something different from the article, I'll just add it in and make a little aside. Now, what is the Fandom Pulse? Well, the Fandom Pulse, to put it bluntly, is propaganda. It is culture war propaganda that's, I mean, you've seen this 100 times on the internet. It's the, I want to say right-wing, maybe even libertarian part of the culture war that is, most of the time, almost just as odious as the other side. They have the propaganda, they got their own talking heads. I'm not going to get too much into it. But we will get into this article. So the article starts with poisoning the well, because this article is about multiple stores closing, and they immediately start with female custodies. Now, if you don't know what the whole controversy around the female custodies were, sometime in April, Games Workshop did a retcon, as they normally do, and they said that there was always been female custodies in the Adeptus Custodes. And the author goes and makes a little excerpt from the Codex, saying that this is the first time that a female Custodes was actually written into lore. Now, I will admit that I know like a lot of people don't like the female Custodes, don't like how it was handled. I'll be honest with you, although I'm not a 40k fan per se, I know I am painting models of it, but I wouldn't call myself a massive fan of it. However, I can agree that how they handled the introduction of the female Custodes was rather poor. Instead of having the females be introduced as a method to bolster the ranks because the Custodes got just wiped out in a battle or war and they just needed more troops, and so they opened the recruitment to the females. Instead, GW said, since the first of the 10,000 were created, they have always been female Custodes, which is the worst way possible, the absolute worst way possible to add the female Custodes in. But it is what it is. So the article then goes on to Mark Kern, who, to put it bluntly, is a scam artist, which I will not get into too much, but the scam artist goes and brings up Rogue Trader back in the 1987 edition, which, again, is over 30 years old at this point, and says, basically, that the Adeptus Custodes have always been male. Now, interesting enough, there's also two retcons, as it says, these men have never left Earth, and only rarely leave the Imperial Palace. That actually isn't true anymore, because the Adeptus Custodes, even before the females came in, the retcon for the females came in, they left Earth. So, I guess no one was mad about that retcon or that change of lore, but they're mad about the females. Then it goes on saying that the GW has been infected with evil gender ideology. Now, in the video, he actually says that it was transsexual, which is actually very false. The model that they're talking about is Irodin the Witness, which, okay, they don't even have the article. Never mind. So I'll throw it up on screen. Irodin the Witness is a executioner of his own kind. The Stormcast Eternal, when they go through the reforging process, after they die, they get reborn, and sometimes the reforging goes bad. And if it goes bad for too many times or for long enough, Mercy killing is the only thing that you could basically do to ease their pain, as they have broken souls, broken bodies, broken minds. And Eodin the Witness takes on or dons the mantle of executioner, hides their identity, so no one knows if they're male or female, and they do this task, the mercy killing of the Stormcast Eternal. It's handled with reverence, with a lot of care, and it's actually a really cool bit of lore. He's not they are not transsexual or transgender or anything else like that. It's just the fact that they don the mantle of executioner, which of course, when you do that, you're hiding your identity to the point where no one knows, well, rather, only Sigmar knows who Eredin was before he donned the mantle. Okay? And then they say, then he goes about attacking Sargon of Akkad in one of the Warhammer Fantasy novels. It wasn't a Warhammer Fantasy novel. It was a Warhammer 40k novel with the Dark Eldar. And it was some person whose name was very similar to Sargon of Akkad. Which, I'll be honest, I don't really care. Now, further on the article, it says that GW has upset fans further by increasing the price of its product, which is true. They have increased the price of the product above the rate of inflation, and a lot of people were upset about that. So, this is actually correct. And generally adopted a corporate attitude many consider anti-consumer. I also agree on this one, especially when it comes to the literature. They use a bit of a FOMO tactic when it comes to the literature, just because they're producing so much of it. They never carry like a lot of backstock. So even a book that came out 2 years ago, you cannot buy it from GW, or very rare times, especially like omnibuses. Very rare times will you be able to actually buy it from the Black Library. Most of the time you have to go on eBay or a secondhand store to buy it. I don't particularly like that, because most of the time when that happens, they do a ridiculous markup. And I just want to read the damn book. Now, of course, the books do come in an audio format and an ebook, but I just physically like to hold a book when I read it. I'm a bit of a boomer like that. However, the actual meat of the article, enough well poisoning. The actual meat of the article, it says, now multiple local game shops have said that they had enough, as the tide seems to be turning against GW because of business practices. On August 15th, Paradise Games announced on their Facebook, we have made the decision to pull out of Games Workshop Warhammer all models at 35% off, blah, blah, blah. And they post a picture. Now, this store, I can't really speak too much to the store, because I try to Google Paradise Games, and I got a few different ones, so I'm not really sure which one it is. But judging by the picture that they posted, I don't think GW was really much a tentpole product for the store. Judging by that, it's August 15th, they still have starter sets, which even my store doesn't have these starter sets. They have a few Combat Patrol, they got a few Sisters of Battle box sets, and then they got one Age of Sigmar down here, mixed in with all this 40k stuff. And something tells me that, this might just be the only rack. They have Citadel paints onto the right. It looks like a White Dwarf off to the left. But it looks like these were basically the only models that they were carrying, and they just want to liquidate the stock so they can use that space for something else. Most of the time, stores either focus on models or cards. So this might just be a card store that carries a lot of, say, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, you name it, board games. It could be one of those situations where it's just, we need stock. We need this space. This product isn't selling. We're just going to liquidate, get rid of it, and put something else in there. And now it goes to a post that has been making its way online and been kind of catching a bit of popularity on certain sides. This comes in December from RIW Hobbies, which is based in America. And it says, well, here's the post down here, and he written out the post. So to summarize, quick announcement, the straw has broke the Space Marine's back. I haven't heard from my GW rep in 3 weeks. He blamed it on my cell phone. I had the same number for 30 plus years. He called the store the second week. I called back immediately within 2 minutes and left a VM. All I cared about was my Christmas box sets. We ordered little over 12,000 in 40k armies. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of product. Okay, even with how expensive GW models is, these stores buy these models at a discount. So 12K in models in one order, massive, absolutely massive. He goes on to say, no return calls, no emails. He called me 2 days before they were scheduled to release, one of those being Thanksgiving, to let me know we weren't getting any of our order. If I wanted, I could order them online at a different discount. So they do buy it at a discount. They wouldn't arrive in time for the scheduled release, and he didn't know when they might possibly ship. He did blame me for the error. I know this not to be true. Day he claims he received my submission, I was in sunny Florida on vacation. After reviewing our sales and space dedicated to the product, we have made the decision to drop all GW product. Now, I'm going to stop right there, okay? Because this entire post, I feel, is bullshit. I think this is cope and bullshit. And the reason why I believe this is because he claims he ordered 12K and 40K armies, okay? And that all he wanted was his Christmas box sets. Now, let's look at that, okay? Let's say, for the sake of argument, that he actually spent $12,000 on 40K, and he bought them at market price. Now, we know that he probably bought it at a 60% discount or something around there when it comes to the stores buying product from GW directly. But let's just say he actually bought $12,000 worth of Christmas box sets, okay? Now, an American box set is roughly $240, okay? That is 50 box sets that he tried to buy all in one go. That is a massive amount of box sets. I don't know if GW even lets anyone buy that many box sets when it comes to the Christmas box set, all in one go. Now, of course, you can make the argument, well, it's just not the Christmas box set. That even gets even more ridiculous, because that means he's ordering, let's say, 50 to 100 different GW boxes. If he really believed that he could shift that much in a short amount of time, his GW rep would be his best friend. That GW rep would be watering his grass every weekend and making sure that he was on top of his game and all stocked up, okay? But after reviewing our sales and space dedicated, this indicates to me that he couldn't even push the product that he had in his store and that he wasn't even making a lot of money. Why he thought that he was going to buy $12,000 worth of 40K and somehow flip that for profit when he can't even do that with the stuff in his store, I have no goddamn idea, which is why I believe this post is completely false. Okay, and then the article kind of ends off with GW is not only intent on price gouging, which, yeah, they kind of do. They do upsell. It is a luxury product, and it is ridiculously expensive sometimes. And a certain identity politics into the game, I don't believe they actually do, or not to the extent that he's claiming it is. But local game stores are now feeling the pinch of the business antics, causing problems for stores as well. With a limited number of hobby stores even left, which is completely false, it begs the question as to how much longer GW can last and whether 40K hobby will die as a result. You probably noticed a tab up on the upper top of the screen there. How is GW doing? They're opening a fourth factory to keep up with demand. Demand is so large that the three factories that they have cannot meet with demand, so they're opening a fourth one. That's how GW is doing right now. GW is massive. It is a worldwide business in every sense. It is so massive that the EU sits down with GW because it is one of Britain's top exporters. It is that big. I mean, I think like last year they made, I've never read it, it was like over 300 million pounds with a pure profit. Like like GW is huge, absolutely huge. Getting back to the video, again, all he did was basically read the article, didn't really add much. He does say that GW is being affected by DEI politics, and that it's because of the DEI politics and the gender ideology is because they have poor customer service, and because of this, a lot of stores are, I guess, ideologically getting rid of their product, the Warhammer product, which, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, 2 stores in a period of 5 months isn't much of a trend, okay? Even if these are 2 stores in America, not a much of a trend, okay? Like, if it was 20 stores, okay, that's a trend. If it was 200 stores, that would be catastrophic. 2 stores, it's okay. He also goes on and says that the
hobby, your wargaming product. This one store noting poor.
All right. He also goes on to say that there was a boycott in April due to the female custodies. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen that boycott other than just people talking about it online. I've seen no indication that anyone who were yelling the loudest about it have even stopped buying GW product, because I know that they certainly haven't stopped talking about GW. So I think the boycott, if it actually existed, it fails spectacularly. But the entire crux of the article and the video, again, he's sprouting basically a pack of lies, or he is twisting and reaching so far with the truth that it might as well just be made up and a lie in itself. And the entire reason why I made the video was this part at the end, okay? So let's take a small listen.
What you guys make of this? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Always speak the fucking truth. He spent the last 5 fucking minutes sprouting bullshit, and he ends it saying, always, always speak the truth. The audacity of this man, of Mr. Trent, his fucking massive brass balls. And for that reason alone is why I made this video. Because he spent 5 minutes lying to me, and then he tells me to always speak the truth. Oh my fucking god. Okay, so this was a bit of a rambly video. It should be hopefully a quicker video than what I normally produce. I'm not expecting this to do numbers, but I just for my sanity and for my humor, I had to make this story. So I had to make this video, because it's just so goddamn funny to me. Thank you all very much if you guys have been watching. I'll be going back to my regular Ostront content on Monday, and there's also going to be a bonus video on Tuesday and Wednesday, so please look out for that. You guys are going to really love it. So always speak the truth, and remember, Pens of War.